Hey everybody, Johnny Joystick here with a very special update, special video, breaking news. And I don't really do this. I don't do this unless it's something that is exciting to people and I think would be relevant to those of you who watch and enjoy my channel. I have, I've talked in the past about the GRS Super Joystick, Kari Warriors. Tested that out. That's been my primary gaming joystick since I got it and did the test where I played through the Akari Warriors trilogy and downtown with it. I'm still getting like the main stuff worked out, but God, I love that joystick so much. And the big news today is Glen from Glen's Retro Show, Thunderstick Studios, has announced the GRS Build-A-Cade FU cabinet Kickstarter arcade, and I'm so excited about this. I was excited when he announced it. I thought, this is definitely going to be cool. I didn't know how totally awesome this looks. And oh my God. Like, if you want a home arcade system, this looks absolutely amazing. And I was honestly hoping that the tariff situation would put this off a little more because I'm not sure that I'm going to be able to afford to back it right now. But if I could, I would be plunking my money down right away. And I think the campaign will launch on the 25th of June 2025, but we'll get some more details here. I know as I'm recording this, just an hour ago, Glen from Glen's Retro Show just posted a video announcing this, going through everything. I'll put a link to that in the description because he's going to go through a lot more. And I've watched 10 minutes of it, and I'm like, holy shit, this is so cool, and I want this, and I have to tell you guys about it. So if we take a look here, blah blah blah, pioneering. This is a full size arcade cabinet. This is not, like the 3/4 arcade one up, which I do enjoy, but they're toys. You know, they're super light. They're toys. This one, 60 inches tall, weighs 200 pounds. This is a real full size arcade cabinet that they've done everything right. Light up marquees. And a bit pixel LED marquee too. Nice. It's compatible with the product, available separately from Pixel-Cade. Very cool. Physical power switch, rubber feet, rear casters for easy mobility. Here we get a look at the dimensions of it, and yeah, look at that. Oh man, I'm just this is so cool. Like, what a nice touch. Like, this is the default control panel that comes with it. 2-player, 6 buttons. I think we got spinners there. We got the famous GRS trackball, some light up buttons, volcano buttons up at the top as well. The ultimate control panel, and this is I'm so pumped for this because this is like, I think, the coolest feature, and why this is just head and shoulders above like any sort of arcade cabinet I've seen out there. But you've got the Arcade Ultimate Control Panel, complete with dual 8-way joysticks, and you can remove the shafts if you want the ball top or if you want a bat top. This is so cool. It has the electronic 4 or 8-way gate switchers, so you just switch automatically if you want a 4 or 8-way gate on the joystick, depending on what you're playing, which is really cool. I'd love to have it so you can switch it to a 2-way is too, depending like if you're playing Galaga or Defender, but that's okay. Uh, yeah, still, just that 4 and 8-way switch is awesome. Optical rotary spinners coming standard on it. I hope those are the push-pull ones. I would imagine that they probably are. I hope so. I could be wrong on that. Don't quote me. But it's awesome that they're there either way. Vivid 7-color LED trackball, Volcano push buttons, advanced zero delay controller encoder, external and internal USB ports, and you can see right there, there's one right on the outside in the middle of the panel, which is very cool. So they put a lot of thought into this. Every control element meticulously engineered in-house to deliver an authentic, responsive arcade experience. And you know, in the time I've been following Glen, I've gotten into like doing my own home arcade stuff, which led to me making this channel and everything. The one thing I can definitely say is, yeah, Glen cares and puts a lot of work into delivering quality products, and I'm sure this is probably going to be like the absolute gold standard of home arcades to come after as a commercial coin door, and that's a really cool feature. I don't necessarily care too much about that, but it's nice that it's there. You know, it gives it that look, that real feel, and it works apparently. So that'd be cool just to keep a couple quarters to drop in to play. I'm not entirely sure how that works, like I said, because I'm burying the lead here, the stuff that I'm super pumped on. I know a lot of people are going to be pumped on having like a real coin door, and you know, like that. I think that's awesome, especially like if you use it for like a little extra storage space and what have you. I'd even be happy with just a panel, but I'm glad that it's like the real deal. 19-inch 5:4 BOE display that automatically rotates, and that is like the cool thing. So there's either a button, or if you set it up through the Arcade OS, which I think is like a PC OS that like you could get that runs on it. I haven't looked into that. I don't know much about it, but it sounds pretty awesome. But the display will automatically rotate between horizontal and vertical, depending on what you're playing. So if you're playing a shooter game, boom, you've got that 4:3 vertical aspect ratio. You've got the horizontal one for fighting games, for Rampage, things like that, and that is so cool. You can upgrade it to the 26 Unico Screen Edition, but it doesn't have automatic rotation. I've seen Glenn do videos about this before. It still looks like it'd be easy to rotate manually, but honestly, like I probably wouldn't do it. But like with an automatic, I'd be like, hell yeah. Sorry, my apologies. We're having a bit of audio issues with Camtasia, so the difference is in there. It's because I had to go back and re-record everything that I'm talking about. But let's dive back into how awesome the GRS Build-A-Cade FU is now that the Kickstarter will be launching shortly. Again, we're talking about that 19-inch display that will automatically rotate. You can either push a button to do it, or if you have the arcade setup or whatever, Arcade OS, it'll just do it automatically depending on what you're playing. So, like, okay, you want to play Rampage, boom. 4:3 horizontal. You want to play Galaga, boom. 4:3 vertical. So that's super awesome. The Unico 26-inch display upgrade, that does not have the automatic one. You have to do it by hand. Glenn has posted videos kind of showing some of that. It looks like it'd be pretty easy, but you know, for me, honestly, like I would rather have the automatic. I'd be more likely to actually do it. Plus, I feel like for the true arcade experience, like the 19-inch display is optimal. It's not so big when you're standing like close to it that you're not going to see everything. And I think just because we can have like huge, lightweight displays now, depending on what we're using it for, like gaming, it's not necessarily better. And I guess even with gaming, like if we're playing old school games versus new ones, like that 19-inch, I think is ideal. I mean, remember back then, TVs weren't even like nearly as big as we got now. But yeah, this just looks like a great cabinet. This is really cool. The Glintendo hood, which is an optional add-on you can get that will turn it into a Nintendo style cabinet. So if you want to decorate it with like, Play Choice 10 or Donkey Kong graphics, you can do that. So you can have like a Donkey Kong cabinet with some additional graphics. But the thing I'm really excited about are the add-on control panels that you can get with like a flight stick, the flight yoke, I guess, like the Star Wars style one, the Tron style flight stick deck, which with the push-pull rotary, the Akari Warrior Super Stick one, a two steering wheel driving one, like Champion Sprint Super Off-Road style. Really looks awesome. There's a built-in keyboard drawer, automatic 4 to 8 way gate restrictor, which is super cool. So like, depending on what you're playing, boom, it shifts it to a 4-way gate versus an 8-way gate. It was great for Pac-Man, Donkey Kong, any of the 4-way gates. I'd love to have a 2-way option, depending which way, for like Defender and Galaga. But I'm sure 4-way would be okay. But this is what's so cool is Glen has designed this to be hot swappable. So like all the storage space in the cabinet is for the additional control panel, so you have a place to keep them. So it's not like, all right, well, what do I do with all this? And he's made it really easy to change them out depending on what you want to play. So if I want to play Discs of Tron, I pull out that Discs of Tron and I play in that. And then if I want to play a little Spy Hunter, out comes the Star Wars Flight Yoke style, and in it goes. If I want to play Rampage fighting games, it's there. If I want to play Akari Warriors, go to the rotary one. Boom. And this is like the amazing thing. Like, look at this deal. $9.99. Super early bird pack. You get a mini PC kit to power everything, which is super cool. But $9.99 for this cabinet, like it's 200 pounds. It's a real arcade cabinet with like a real coin door, all this storage space, hot swappable things. That's amazing to me. Automatic rotation screen. Glen is given home arcade enthusiasts something just truly special with this, and I have no doubt in my mind, based off my experience with the GRS Super joystick, the Akari Warriors edition, and just his reputation in the community in general, that he's going to deliver, and this is going to be like the crown jewel of GRS Thunderstick Studios. It looks so amazing, and that's an amazing price. And think about like when Iconic Arcade announced Media One Up, whatever the hell it is, I don't know, but they announced their little knockoff arcade one up, and they have, ooh, we got the Capcom license, so there'll be Street Fighter 2 art on it, and they were charging $700 for that. It was like powered by a Raspberry Pi 5, and wasn't a full size thing. Definitely wasn't gonna be as weighty as this. Glen has made this to be like a fixture. Like, you want a real arcade machine that can do everything. Here's a real arcade machine for your home that can do everything. That's actually like commercial build quality. Like, you could put this in an arcade. Like, that's the standard he was going for, versus like people want something small and cheap to put in their basement, and here we go with some games that they like. And I'm not bagging on like Arcade 1-Up, because I mean, I have a couple Arcade 1-Up machines, and I like them. I got into this like modding a Project Arcade 1-Up cabinet I picked up. And I'm like, oh well, just built a Raspberry Pi emulation thing. Now I can like actually start messing with the cabinet, learning how to make a control panel and all that. So there's a place for them, but they're toys. Let's be straight about it. This is like the real deal, and that's a great price. If you want the 26-inch upgrade, like, it's $1,200. I mean, back in this Kickstarter. So, like, the value of this just looks amazing to me. And unlike the iconic arcade thing, I actually believe that Glen has the capability to deliver based on his reputation and everything. And I know things that he said regarding the tariff situation, and putting this back until like things had kind of settled, so he had an idea of what would be happening to get it to the price point that he wanted it to be, for the consumer. Like, he put thought into this. It wasn't just like a pre-order now and then we're gonna start building it as cheap as possible, and then when we don't have enough pre-orders and we don't have the capital to do it, and maybe some other legal issues with a rumored cease and desist going around, trying to blame that on tariffs, and then still charging people even though like the release date got kicked back, like Iconic and Media 1-Up did. I wouldn't trust that, but Glen, you can trust. And from everything I've seen, like, this does not seem shady at all to me, because I've been following this, and he's been good at being transparent. With Iconic, Media 1-Up, haven't heard anything since that initial announcement of like, oh, here this is $700, it's got a Raspberry Pi in it. Here's $999, and you get a solid quality machine, full size home arcade machine, sturdy, weighing 200 pounds. It's got casters, making it easy to move. A lot of just thoughtful touches to allow people to grow, to allow this system to grow, to like be able to like pass it on to your kids, whatever, if you want. It's one of those, like, this is built to last. It's not built to just have for a couple years and then flip on Facebook Marketplace, like Arcade 1-Ups. And that's when I've gotten mine dirt cheap off Facebook Marketplace. Why? Because it's dirt cheap. I was gonna pay new for that, and like, you go out like $500, $600, $700. No way. Like, it's just not there. Like, the value is there in this. And I've talked about when I got into this, it started with me building a Raspberry Pi. I just had plugged into my TV, and I do that. And then I won an arcade one-up partycade at my local arcade, and I started looking into modding it and all that. And I'm like, okay, this would be cool. And then I'm like, wait a minute, I could do all this other stuff. And then I found somebody selling like a half-completed uh, arcade one-up mod project. So it's like the mod had already been done. There was no control panel. There's nothing inside. I'm like, well, this is exactly what I'm looking for. Like, half the work's been done for me. And I got that, learned how to build my first control panel, put my Pi in it, started playing it, and that led to this YouTube channel. And then me picking up a couple of others for various projects or whatever. I don't know what I was doing. I just got that modding bug, you know. And then like learning more about real arcade machines and all that, because you know I do want a real one, a vintage one. I also want to be able to take proper care of it. And there's a lot that goes into that. I don't have the space, I don't have the tools, and I don't have the know-how to keep a classic machine running. So I hesitate with that. But with the FU cabinet, it's got like all the modern niceties, and like, you can plug stuff in, start emulating, playing things right away, whether you want to do, you know, straight software emulation, FPGA stuff, any of that, you can do it with this. And that's great because it gives you those options to grow as you get deeper into the hobby. And that's super cool because it doesn't stop with the emulation. There's more to it than that, because there's also the, you know, like JAMA setup. So you can have like a real PCB and set it up to work with this. You can have a, you know, Capcom CPS cartridge, a Naomi cartridge, a MVS system. You can start putting that into this if you want, if you go deeper, if you have an eye on that down the road at least, and want to move away from emulation. I think that's fantastic. Because that makes more sense for me wanting to get deeper into arcade stuff than it does like trying to maintain classic cabinets with limited stuff, you know, limited space, limited tools, all of that. This gives me the option to grow. And again, like with the hot swappable things, and like this mega pack, God, this is the one I want. Right, $17.99 for the 19-inch automatic rotating screen. Comes with everything. So you get the hood, you get the trackball and button control panel, so perfect for Centipede and Asteroids. You get the dual rotary control panel, Ikari Warriors, Guerrilla War, Heavy Barrel, all that good stuff. The Tron, the flight stick control panel, which would probably be on mine most of the time. It would almost be like a disc of Tron dedicated machine with having that bad boy. You get the dual wheel one. You want to play some racing games with your friends. I'm looking at that. I'm thinking Championship Sprint. I'm thinking Super Off-Road. I mean, maybe even APB, but you get the flight yoke one for, you know, like Star Wars and stuff. Well, that'd also be great for Spy Hunter. And that's what I'm thinking when I look at that. I'm thinking Spy Hunter. I'm thinking Road Blasters. Maybe if I'm just playing like Outrun or something, maybe the flight yoke is the way to go. I don't know. And you still get the mini PC in it, but you get like all of the decks, and it has a storage for that. So you're not just like, you're not limited. This is made to grow with your needs, with your wants, with your hobby. And I think that's a beautiful, beautiful thing. And it's so thoughtful, and you can tell that this is this is done with not just with the eye of like making like the highest quality possible products while keeping the price down, being good to the consumers, but just out of uh, love for these machines, out of love for arcades, out of love for the hobby, for the community. That's where this is coming from versus, like a more cynical endeavor where it's like, oh yeah, we're gonna slap Street Fighter graphics on it. We got this license, and we're gonna charge XYZ, for that, and make money, and then do this, and then do that, and blah blah blah. There isn't that licensing on it, which keeps the price down, and you know I don't know how much of an impact that makes, but it's like, my God, you give me this kind of quality for $1,000 more than what was basically an arcade one up XL. Like there's absolutely no question. If you're serious about arcades, if you want more than just whatever branded thing comes with the toy that you're buying, this is it. This does everything. Like, you can't ask for more than this. Like, everybody, my theory anyway is, if not everybody, a huge majority of people, I'm including myself, definitely, that have gotten arcade one-ups and wanted a real arcade cabinet. Like, that's been the dream. But then it's like, for whatever reason, price, space, just easy, because it is easy. We've gotten those little cabinets, and again, nothing wrong with them. I do like my arcade one-ups. Buttons kind of suck, but other than that, I haven't had a problem with it. But this is that perfect in between of, let me do what I want. Give me something that will let me scratch whatever arcade itch I have. If I want to play Rampage, if I want to play Spy Hunter, if I want to play Galaga, if I want to play Defender, if I want to play Discs of Tron, I've got something that can do that can replicate the actual controls of it, that will feel like the real thing. And, if you don't want all of them, you got the add-ons here for different ones, which is super cool. But the possibilities are there. And not just that, but then, the possibilities of turning it literally into a real arcade by being able to connect it via JAMA and all that, that stuff in there. If you get there, I'm not there yet, I can do that yet, but with an eye to that in the future. And here's something that does everything I want it to do now, and gives me the option to be able to get deeper into the future, but with like some modern niceties. That's really cool. And so there's a lot going on, and again, check Glen's video. I've only watched 10 minutes of it, and I got super excited and had to come make this right now. But it looks like the roadmap has it delivering in February, March 2026, expected delivery. Backing on that, so you have like the June ends in August, the Kickstarter. I think it starts around June 25th from just what I remember seeing. Ends in August, so that's going to go for 60 days. So I have time to scrape some money together. And then production will start. Production will end in 90 days, around November. Freight will start in January, and then expected delivery February, March 2026 out to every people. And then you'll have an awesome arcade cabinet that will last for years and that will do everything you want. So I can't recommend this enough. Again, like, go check Glen's channel out, listen to him talk about it, listen to the announcement. I'm going to go watch the rest of it, but I had to share this with you. So I hope you're as pumped about it as I am. And thanks for watching. Take care.